Welcome back. Today, we're talking about a game-changing development. Non-compete agreements, which have long held back workers, are now being banned in many places. For years, companies have used these clauses to prevent employees from jumping to competitors or starting their own businesses, effectively limiting career growth and income potential. But now, with increasing attention on worker rights and fair competition, these agreements are under fire. Stay tuned as we dive into how non-competes impacted careers and what this ban means for the future of work. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss out on our latest content. 1. The origins of non-compete agreements. Non-compete agreements have been a part of the business landscape for decades, originating as a way for companies to protect their trade secrets and intellectual property. These clauses were designed to prevent employees from leaving one company and taking valuable business knowledge to a competitor. Initially, they seemed like a fair solution to prevent corporate espionage and maintain business continuity. However, over time, the use of non-competes has expanded beyond their original purpose, affecting workers in industries that have little to do with sensitive information. Many employees found themselves bound by these contracts, even when their new job had no real connection to their previous role. The purpose of non-competes was gradually distorted, leading to a serious imbalance between employers and employees. 2. The impact on career mobility. Non-compete agreements made it incredibly difficult for workers to switch jobs. Even if they wanted to advance their careers, employees found themselves locked into one position or industry, unable to explore new opportunities without the fear of legal repercussions. This limited their ability to climb the career ladder, especially if they had valuable skills that were in demand elsewhere. Career progression, once seen as a natural aspect of professional life, became a near impossible goal for many workers. Instead of seeking out better paying, more fulfilling jobs, employees were forced to stay stagnant, often in positions they were no longer passionate about. The inability to switch employers led to burnout and dissatisfaction, leaving workers feeling trapped in their roles. Many companies took advantage of this dynamic, knowing that workers had limited options for career mobility. 3. The rise of overly broad non-competes. While non-compete agreements were initially meant to protect sensitive information, they have increasingly been used in an overreaching way. Many companies began drafting overly broad non-compete clauses, extending restrictions beyond what was reasonable. Instead of focusing only on protecting trade secrets or customer lists, these agreements began to prevent employees from working in entire industries or geographical areas. 4. Non-competes and wage stagnation. One of the most significant consequences of non-compete agreements was their role in wage stagnation. By limiting workers' ability to change jobs, employers had less competition for talent, which meant they didn't have to raise wages to attract or retain employees. The lack of job mobility meant that employees were stuck in their roles for longer periods, often with little to no salary increase. This created a scenario where workers could not leverage new opportunities to negotiate better pay. With fewer options available, workers were less likely to demand higher wages or better benefits. 5. Non-competes and the entrepreneurial spirit. One of the biggest unintended consequences of non-compete agreements was their effect on entrepreneurship. Many workers with the skills and expertise to start their own businesses were deterred from doing so because of the restrictions imposed by non-compete clauses. Entrepreneurs found themselves in a difficult position, unable to leave their current employers and start a business in the same industry, even if they had unique ideas or innovations. This stifled creativity and innovation, as many workers were held back from pursuing entrepreneurial ventures. Instead of contributing to the economy in new and exciting ways, they were forced to remain in traditional roles that didn't allow them to explore their full potential. 6. Non-competes and the employee-employer relationship. Non-compete agreements also contributed to a shift in the employee-employer relationship. Rather than fostering an atmosphere of trust and mutual respect, these agreements created an environment of control and fear. Employees were made to feel that they were disposable and that their talents were only valuable as long as they stayed within the confines of the company. This undermined employee morale and loyalty, as workers felt less like partners in the company's success and more like cogs in a machine. Non-competes reinforced the idea that companies had the upper hand and that employees were merely temporary resources. 7. The legal and ethical concerns of non-competes. While non-compete agreements were intended to protect business interests, they often raised legal and ethical questions. Critics argued that non-competes were being used inappropriately to restrict workers' freedom and suppress competition. These agreements were often signed without fully understanding their long-term consequences, leaving workers trapped in contracts they didn't fully comprehend. Moreover, many non-compete clauses were difficult to enforce fairly, leading to prolonged legal battles between employees and employers. 8. The shift toward banning non-compete agreements. In recent years, there has been a growing movement to ban non-compete agreements, and several states have taken action to protect workers from these restrictive clauses. The argument for banning non-compete centers on the idea that they limit workers' rights and hinder economic mobility. Advocates for the ban argue that workers should have the right to change jobs without being penalized by employers. Several states have already passed legislation to make non-competes unenforceable or to limit their use to certain high-level employees. 9. What the ban on non-competes means for workers. The ban on non-compete agreements is a victory for workers, giving them the freedom to pursue new opportunities without fear of legal retribution. With the ability to move between employers, workers can now leverage their skills and experience to negotiate better pay and career advancement. The ban opens up possibilities for people to change industries or start their own businesses without being penalized. This newfound freedom will likely lead to more dynamic competitive job markets, where employers must work harder to attract and retain talent. 10. The future of employment contracts. As non-compete agreements are banned in many places, the future of employment contracts is likely to change significantly. Employers may need to rethink how they protect their intellectual property and sensitive business information. Rather than relying on restrictive non-competes, companies may turn to other legal tools, such as non-disclosure agreements or confidentiality clauses, to safeguard their interests. This could lead to a more balanced approach, where employees are free to pursue new opportunities, but employers are still protected from the potential misuse of proprietary knowledge. Thanks for watching. It's incredible to see how the banning of non-compete agreements is finally giving workers the freedom they deserve, opening up new career opportunities and fostering innovation. The days of feeling trapped by restrictive contracts are coming to an end, and with it the chance for employees to advance, earn more, and take control of their careers is here. What do you think about the end of non-competes? Let me know in the comments below. And if you found this video insightful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next video.